Hi, welcome to Parenting on the Ranch. I'm Jessica. Today we're going to be talking about mom/wife guilt, so stick around.
We are a family of 5 living on a ranch in Texas.
On our channel, we will cover a variety of topics. These are solely based on our experience and opinions, and we do not hold any degrees in childhood development or education.
So today we're going to talk about mom-wife guilt. I want to broach the subject. I want to bring it up. I want to give somebody ear to maybe not feel alone. I want to give other people a voice to maybe not feel so alone when they do have guilt. Mom-wife guilt affects people in different shapes, forms, levels of severity. I believe that we all feel it in some kind of way and need basic coping skills to get through it. Sometimes you may need more, and that's okay. So Curtis and I have been married since 2010. Currently, we have our 3 kids. Raven is 6, Cassidy is 5, and Gage is 3. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 5 years when we started fostering. And in our fostering journey, we've had 23 kids come through our home, so it's a lot to maintain. We live on a ranch in Texas with my parents, so life, to say the least, is pretty busy. When I talk about or bring up my mom guilt, there is 2 sides of the fence. I want to stay Jessica, but when my world takes over, it's hard to find myself and remember who I am. So we made the decision that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom when we started fostering. Along with that decision, it means I have chose to devote my entire life to my family, and basically everything day to day in the operations of our home, I take care of. I do the doctor's appointments, dentist, school functions. On top of that, I do laundry, bills, cooking, clean, everything. I'm not saying that I'm not grateful. I don't take that role for granted. It's what I chose. It's what I want. And I know that my family needs me to hold everything together. My husband tells me all the time he reads this like meme thing on Facebook or some little quote that says moms are the dumping ground for their kids. They will hold themselves together the entire day, and when they see their mom, they let it all go. They just vent it out to her. So, I mean, that's a very high praise as a parent. Like, I want to be that for my kids. So on one side of the fence, I want to stay me. I want to stay Jessica and have my hobbies and my, things that I want. But then on the other side of the fence, I know that I'm supposed to hold everything together for them. And that role as the gatekeeper to our home, for my kids, for my husband, I don't take it for granted, but that's not when the guilt comes in. It doesn't make me feel guilty to have to do those things. The guilt comes in when I'm away, when I'm not with them. I tell my husband all the time that I feel bad for leaving the kids at home with their dad when I go to the grocery store. Why is that? Why do I feel bad? I know that I need time away from them just as much as they need time away from me. They need time with their dad. They need that one-on-one time. Gage needs to be with him to learn manly things. And my girls need one-on-one time with him to learn the things that I can't teach them. But why do I feel guilty? I think it's because I struggle with the in-between. I feel guilty taking time to myself when my kids are at home and might need me. That's a hard thing to say. I feel guilty for my self-care, for my break, for just taking a minute because they might need me. Now, here's something to consider. If I don't put myself first and I don't fill myself up with the things that I like, how am I going to make my kids feel better about themselves? Or how am I going to fill them up with everything that they need if I don't have the time to give to myself, much less them? So say you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You still have the time to get away. Moms that stay home are 24/7, 365. We don't get sick days. We don't get holidays. We sure don't get comp time. We need that. And I guess too, I feel guilty that there's not enough time in the day. And I say that a lot. There's not enough time. So that makes me feel bad. What can I give up to give more time to myself, to my husband, to my kids? I don't have anything to give. Yes, I can let the dishes go, or yes, I can, let the laundry go. But there's so much stuff on my plate as a mother and as a wife, but I still need to manage their day, their behavior, their everyday needs. I know that I'm not perfect, but who is? Who can do it all and not feel like there's something else that they could be doing? I feel guilty, especially when my kids, ask me, Mom, can you help me with my homework? But when it's me and the three of them, I feel bad that Gage and Cassidy are in the living room playing alone, and they don't get that attention that they need when they first come home from school. But Raven needs my attention because she has homework to do. She's in kindergarten, so I really need to focus. But, again, I can't split my time, so it's a give and take kind of thing. Again, my guilt, it really comes in when I am away from them. Because back to the time, there's not enough time in my day. So when I take that time away from myself, I feel guilty, or I feel bad, because I could be using that time to be putting my best ability and my best efforts into my kids so I can push them forward to the best grown-up that they can be, best life that they can have. Give everything to them so they make a difference when they get older. At night, I talk a lot about time, but at night, after they go to bed, I ask sometimes, especially when Curtis is working at night, I ask myself, did I give them enough of myself? Did I do my best today? Could I have done something different? Could I have handled that situation a little bit differently? What am I going to do different tomorrow? Better? How could I have changed not only their behavior, but mine? Or avoided the behavior altogether? I talk about my behavior. Sometimes I'm short with them. Sometimes I may snap at them a little too quickly. But it's all relevant back to time. We're quick to judge on situations sometimes, even though we do our disciplinary behavior steps that we've talked about on another video, which we could post a link on here. But everybody has an off day. Everybody has a bad day. So sometimes I'm a little snappy. But it all comes back to, we need to get this done. We need to focus on this. And you're distracting me. So I might snap or, So I think about those times late at night, like, I really could have done better. They learn from me. They watch and hear and soak up everything that I do. So again, if I don't put my best self forward or my best ability forward, it makes me feel awful that they're learning something negative that on a different day or in a different time span, I might have done better and might have given them a better positive outlook on something. These are all situations in my head at those times late at night or before I go to bed. These are all questions that I ask myself. The reason that I do it, the reason that I think about our day and evaluate it, so to speak. I want to know different options so I'm able to grow as a mom or as a wife. There's situations with my husband, like, I could have handled it a little bit differently. How am I going to handle it next time? Am I going to give myself, a 10-second count in my head to go back to and think about that better choice of words or that better conclusion to that disagreement than I did before? I do those things to grow as a mom and to give myself a better shot at making the best of tomorrow. From the time that my kids get home from school, Monday through Friday, from the time that they get home from school to bedtime, our life is in fast forward. We just go from one thing. That's why we have the schedule. That's why we have the routine that we have, because it does just go in fast forward. I try to set aside every day enough time to talk to each of my kids, discuss their day, good, positive or negative things that happen in their day. I try to give them my undivided attention because I'm not with them all day. What can I say in that span of time that will help them tomorrow? I'm sure they ask themselves the same question that I do. How can I be better? Or how can I have done that better? Or I wish this was different. So, giving them that time, especially, like I said earlier, with the moms are the dumping ground. Where are the gatekeepers of our home? Where they dumping ground? My kids, when they come home, are so excited to see me. So that time makes me feel good that I have their undivided attention and they have mine. A big portion of my guilt and my sadness throughout the day, and this could be me as a mom or me as a wife, it's when I fail them, when I don't handle the situation carefully or correctly. It's never too late to apologize for inappropriate or lacking in your response. I know that I've heard myself say a couple of times, I don't care about that pencil that you got. And I just blew it. That could have been the highlight of their day, and I blew it. So how do I fix it? When those moments happen. The words come out so fast. I don't care about that pencil that you got or that sticker that you got. But I blew it. So what do I do now? Just like we give our kids a chance to have a do-over, that is my second. I will stop and direct my sole attention to them and say, I'm sorry. I would love to hear about it, but give me a couple of minutes. How do our kids learn how to apologize if we as grown-ups and adults can't do it ourselves? I've told them at bedtime, I'm sorry, I can't right now. Remind me tomorrow. I keep tomorrow as a promise. Not just to pacify the moment right now of, you want me to read you a book? I'm sorry I can't tonight because I have other obligations, not priorities, but obligations that I can't do it tonight. Remind me tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, they do remind me. That is my moment to either choose to fail them with my obligations or to hold my promise so they learn that people make promises and keep them. I want them to know that some people do follow through. I want them to learn how to follow through. So I keep tomorrow as a promise. That promise overrules my obligations of the dishes and the bills and those things. Sometimes we can't help it. That's when the remind me tomorrow comes in. But my mom guilt comes in the moments that they are disappointed. When I disappoint my kids, that's a big blow because I never want to see that on their face. I never want them to feel that. So when I do disappoint them, I make sure I don't let that promise go. I make it a priority. And, I do things all day long. So if I have one of those remind me tomorrow moments, I tell myself the next morning, I have to do that. I have to read that book today. I have to cuddle them for 10 more minutes. I have to, wash their favorite shirt, whatever it is. I make sure that I make the time and keep it as a priority. It's important. It's important to them. It needs to be important to me as a mom, which it is. But I need to make sure I follow through. When I take me time, so I get my fingernails done, takes an hour and a half, or I don't know, go get my hair cut or do something for me, for my self-care. It seems to never fail. I will come home, whether it's Curtis watching them or my parents or whoever, the babysitter, when we had one. When I come home and my kids are crying, I mean crying, not just little tears, like they have been crying the whole time I'm gone, and that's what is said to me. So when Gage was little, like he was 1.5, 2 years old, he was clingy. He would not let me out of his sight. So when I, snuck out at nap time or, had to leave, I feel awful for leaving, especially when they're crying, screaming, kicking, just trying to cling on. But then I feel even worse when I come home and they're still crying. Or someone says, thank God you're home. They've been crying ever since you left. How are you supposed to feel? I feel awful. I mean awful. Like I will go weeks without leaving the house again because I feel so bad. I need the time. They need time away from me. Otherwise, I'm going to be the only person that they ever experience in their life. Or I'm going to navigate every situation for them. And they're not going to have the social skills to do it with other adults or kids their age. But then when I come home and they're crying, I feel awful. It makes me feel guilty just talking about it. I mean, how would you feel? How do you feel if your kid is crying or somebody says they've been crying since you've been gone? Thank God you're back. I don't take too many of those mom moments. I really don't take any. There was a point in our life that I didn't take any mom moments. I really, really lost myself. And, I just got in that rhythm and routine of get up, get the kids dressed, everything. Taking care of everybody else and putting myself last. But again, it goes back to, if I put myself last, how am I supposed to maintain the rhythm and the routine and have energy enough to feel fulfilled in life to be able to give them that? You can't. You'll burn out. And that's when things start to go by the wayside. For real. But there was a time that I didn't have any mom time. Now that Gage is 3 and he's a 3-nager. Not just 3. He's a 3-nager. He's going on 13. But, when it got really bad, it got really bad. And we actually made time in our schedule, in our routine to have me time. 30 minutes, at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. Just to have time to do things that we wanted, to come into my office and paint or draw or do something that was Jessica. It wasn't mom, it wasn't wife, it was Jessica. Things have gotten better since Gage has got older and the kids are a little bit older, and they will, my office is not that big. I mean, I have painting stuff. This little area right here is the kids area. And I have another chair. They can actually come into my office, be with me, and do their office stuff, which is really kind of cute. The picture that Raven drew me of our family. But, they have a bucket that they can sit there. It keeps them quiet. I can get my work done. We are together. That's what matters to them. That's what matters to me. I still get my obligations done, but they are my priority. When we can sit together and, I can color for 2 seconds and then come back to my computer. That's it. But it's gotten better. I can come in here. It's bad to say that my me time is paying bills, but I can come in here, like right now I'm shooting the video. So I can come in here, I can shut the door and breathe. Take 5-10 minutes and, just take a break. Especially when things are harder, or the behaviors that they have are harder or more stressful, just have that time to come in here and be like, and go back at it. So, I mean, mom guilt is a hard thing to navigate, because you need the time away from them, especially for me. I need the time away from them. They need it away from me. But then I feel bad for taking it. So let's talk about wife guilt. Having 3 under 6 takes a lot from me. My husband works a first responder shift, so he works 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, and then he switches 2 days off, 2 days on, 3 days off. So at least he gets every other weekend off. He works 12-hour shifts, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Currently, he works 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So he's gone by 5 a.m. We get up at 6. He normally gets home about 30 minutes before the kids go to sleep. It just doesn't allow a whole lot of time for him with the kids. And then he needs to go to bed at 9:30. So in saying that, my wife guilt kicks in when I put, my husband gets home at 6:30. I put the kids to bed at 7:30, and then he has to be in bed by 9:30. I put the kids, when I couldn't get away from Gage, when I couldn't bring him into my office and him be quiet and let me work and him work at the art or the kids station, I would come in here after the kids go to bed. I would come in my office and pay bills and do my obligations that I couldn't do with my 2-year-old hanging on me. My wife guilt kicks in when I stay home 24/7 with at least one kid at home during the week. And, I put my kids to bed and I don't have enough time to do the dishes or finish the laundry. So I asked my husband to do it after he's worked and been gone he's worked 12 hours. My wife guilt kicks in on his days off too. When he spends all day with our son and I hibernate in my office to get my own work done, granted I pay bills and I work on our budget and I make the grocery list and the menu and all those things, those are things that I look at as my job. They have to be done every week. But I don't like the fact that it takes away time from my husband and my kids on his days off. I try not to do those things on Saturday and Sunday, especially when those are his weekends off. That is family time, and we leave it at that. I try to, especially when he's home, I try to allot the 2-hour nap to get all my things accomplished. That way I can be in the living room or be with them when they're awake and be with him, and we can be a family and we can do family things. I get distracted by wanting to spend time with them, wanting to know what they're doing, because this wall, on the other side of this wall, is a living room. So even if I'm in my office and they are up and they're playing, they're in there having a great old time, and here I sit, not engaged in their activities, not engaging with my husband. I'm in here doing my thing. Again, it's two sides of the fence. I have to do these things. I have to do them for my family. But yet, what am I missing out on while I do it? So, it makes me feel bad. Or when they're banging on the wall because they know that I'm in here. It's just funny. It's just funny how guilt works. My brain knows these are priorities. These are things I have to get done. But my heart is screaming, get it done. Go to your family. And, pick your priorities. Pick obligations. And do them in those times that your schedule allows it. My kids and my husband know that this is my job. The bills, the laundry, the everything. It is my job. It's the job that I do for our family. My husband goes out and works and brings home the money. And my job after that, that's his job. My job after that is to take care of everything. So I have to have priorities and obligations. Otherwise, those things don't get done. But it's funny how guilt works. Because, again, my brain knows that I have to do it. But my heart is telling me, go spend time with your kids. My kids, again, I made them this little area here because they take interest in what I do. So they are to a point where they will come in and sit down and kind of keep it quiet, not wrestling and all those things. So they'll sit over there and make their grocery lists. Granted, it's scribbling on paper, but they're doing the grocery list. When they cut, they're cutting coupons. All the grown-up stuff that they see me do. So that gives me a little sense of pride, because they do notice, even at so little. They do take that responsibility of when they grow up, they get married, they have kids, they're going to take on that responsibility for their family. I would hope. At least I give them the knowledge to how to do it. So that gives me a little bit of pride. But they'll sit over here and they will do their stuff. But that doesn't, they'll come in a little bit, but then they go out. Or if I'm super focused on something, and I make them go out, it doesn't mean I like it. I keep saying that my guilt comes in when I'm away from my family. There are some people that can be in a room full of their family and loved ones and feel alone. Or, yet they feel guilty. Maybe that they figure they could be doing something more productive or progressive for their family. But, it's not only just moms or wives that have guilt. Dads and husbands have guilt too. Maybe in your family the roles are reversed. The dad stays home, or the mom works. Maybe you both work outside the home and you both share the guilt, but you don't talk about it. You may both feel guilty, but you're working towards the same goal. I just, like I said at the very beginning, I wanted to broach the subject because I don't think I've ever heard anybody that I follow on social media or anything like that, or my friends, talk about mom-wife guilt. Or at least it didn't strike a chord with me the way that they feel mom-wife guilt. I think it's a good topic that you need to both broach, especially if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, or something just doesn't feel right, or your family feels off to you. I think it's something that you need to talk about and have out in the open. That way, when you do feel the guilt coming on, things can change before you get too down or too out of sorts to reel it back in. So I cope with my guilt by remembering those core things that I said earlier. Be present and do my best every day. Taking time away is okay, and my family will be fine. Give myself grace. If you feel lost or less of yourself in the guilt, or you're struggling with life, you are not any good to anyone else. Self-care is a valid, valuable thing. Try making a family schedule and allot time to yourself. They will love you no matter what. As long as you are present and try your hardest at life, everything will be okay. I hope my message helps you if you're struggling with mom or wife, or on the flip side, dad and husband guilt. it will work out for you. I just wanted to broach the subject because I don't want you to feel alone if you are watching and you are struggling. Just take one day at a time, and I pray for you that things will get better. Thank you for watching today. I hope that you will like this video and subscribe to our channel for our topical videos every Friday and our Tuesday special videos. Until next time, thank you for watching.